Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to start by a question. Can I please get a show of hands who here in the audience uses personalized marketing in their organization in some way, shape, or form? Come on, don't be shy. That's unsurprising. Personalization isn't a new concept. It has, however, been growing in importance in marketing organizations across the globe. With the sheer amount of data we have on each and every individual, shouldn't we finally be marketing to them when, where, and how they want on a very personal level? Let's ask some questions and find out some stats about how prolific personalization actually is. In the UK, apparently 86% of marketeers are personalizing their marketing, and 50% of digital marketeers are using personalization, predictive algorithms rather, to personalize their marketing. And finally, we can expect a 19% uplift in sales from brands that use personalized experiences on their websites. Looking at these statistics alone, one would think that we should be personalizing and hyper-targeting every single message that we send to consumers. We should be understanding their moods, behaviors, their attitudes on a second-by-second basis. Shouldn't we? The fact of the matter is, we struggle to maintain these type of relationships with our loved ones, let alone prospective buyers of our brands. So let's for a second imagine a world full of personalized marketing.
In the desert, Lexus. The road you're on, John Anderton, is the one less traveled. Make sure you follow down. You can move the old-fashioned John Anderton. You could use a Guinness right about.
So whilst the Guinness marketing team back at our HQ, and maybe some of you here in the audience, might think that this is a positive vision of the future, the average consumer thinks this is a dystopian nightmare. The idea of walking through a cacophony of digital outdoor ads that continually scan your retina on a second-by-second basis, sending you repeated targeting advertising, that's hell. So look, I know that I'm getting a little ahead of myself, and there are far more nuanced ways that we can do personalized marketing. But really, we need to ask a few questions on this topic to understand it more. And the first question is, do people even want it? And in fact, over 50% of people aged over the age of 35 don't. They find it annoying. But despite that fact, over 53% of marketeers are set to increase their budgets for personalization. So I think the thing here is we need to have a nuanced approach. We need to make sure that our personalization doesn't annoy consumers. The next question we need to ask is it even good for brand building? We all know the importance of having a strong and vibrant brand. And in fact, the pricing power that a premium brand can command over its competitors is significant. Here we can see a fantastic example of Starbucks. This is the type of pricing power that they can command. And in fact, the best example I could find was this one of Supreme. So you can see here, they've simply stamped their brand on the brick, and they've managed to command an enormous price premium. So we all understand that branding is really important, but where does personalization fit into this? We need to be careful. By all means, use the sheer amount of data that we have available to target the right consumers at the right time on the right platform. But when you're thinking about personalizing what your brand stands for or why consumers should buy it, that's when you can land yourself in some trouble. Think about it this way. Think of somebody that you know that for every single occasion they're at, they change their personality. The chances are you aren't friendly with too many people like this because society as a whole, we tend to shun them. These people are two-faced or they're phony. And the same can be said of brands. A powerful and vibrant brand sends the same positive association to as many consumers as possible across those disparate platforms. So strong branding is all about building credibility over the long term. The next question we need to ask is, can we even execute it at scale? I don't think I need to tell this audience the challenges we have of cleaning, harmonizing, and just managing the sheer amount of data that we have across all of the digital and other platforms that we have. From deduplicating cookies to extracting data from walled gardens, this is a problem that isn't about to go away anytime soon. And in fact, 23% of customer data is believed to be inaccurate. And 92% of organizations have experienced problems as a result of inaccurate data. And quite frankly, I'd like to meet the 8% of organizations who've never experienced inaccurate data because I don't believe that they exist. The next question is it even legal or will it be? with the GDPR, CCPA, there's a whole bunch of privacy regulation that we all face, and the pendulum is only going to be swinging in one direction. Whether it's first-party data, second-party data, or third-party data, there are a lot of question marks over all of these data sets, where they've come from, and how we're allowed to use them in the future. I don't think this is going to be the last time we talk about this topic over the next few days. Right? So we think that there are better ways. At Diageo, we believe that you can invest in public rituals. It's about balancing relevancy with reach. And finally, to measure the effectiveness of this, we believe you can actually do attribution at the zip code level as opposed to the user level. So what do I mean by a public ritual? What is a public ritual? A public ritual is any event where a large group of people are watching it at the same time. Think Game of Thrones, think the Super Bowl. So I want to pose a question. What do you think the difference is between, say, advertising on Instagram or Facebook versus advertising on the Super Bowl? What are the main differences? Well, one of the main differences is price. In 2018, the average CPM for Facebook was a little over $11, whereas for the Super Bowl, it was $45 at 70 cents. So knowing what we know about these different platforms, knowing that we can use Facebook or Instagram to hyper-target and hyper-personalize, shouldn't we just look at this opportunity as an arbitrage? Shouldn't we get nearly four times the reach on Facebook as opposed to advertising on the Super Bowl? Actually, advertising in a public ritual like the Super Bowl can make sense. And one of the reasons why is something called signaling. The cost of a Super Bowl ad last year was a little over $5 million. And the fact that this is such a public, colossal waste of money is actually one of the reasons why it's so effective. Subconsciously, as people watch these ads, they actually internalize that this particular brand has the money to advertise to me in this forum, and it actually builds trust. In the same way that humans can signal by wearing fancy watches or driving fast cars, brands can do the same thing in these public rituals. The next region is something called common knowledge. Think about this picture back again. So again, it's actually not enough for a brand to simply send their positive associations to each individual consumer. They need to make sure that each individual consumer knows that other people also feels the same association. Think about it this way. Let's just assume that you watch a Nike commercial on the Super Bowl. Subconsciously, again, as you're watching that commercial, you know in your head that actually there are millions of other people who are watching the same ad just like you at the same time. And therefore, the positive associations that you get with that particular brand, you can feel confident when you go out and wear a Nike t-shirt. That if I walk around with a Nike shirt, I can feel confident these other people also have that positive association or that common knowledge. The next thing is balancing relevancy with reach. So remember that Minority Report video we showed earlier? This is our answer to less creepy advertising. You can see here on the left, this is some out-of-home advertising we ran in New York recently. And we use things like weather, location, time of day, sporting events, all of these different signals to input into these real-time out-of-home displays. And these have been incredibly effective for us, and most importantly, they're emotionally engaging and they're not creepy. And finally, from an attribution standpoint, how do you measure this stuff? Well, we went on a bit of a journey, and thinking about it from purely programmatic and digital, we attempted to do a closed-loop attribution, which I think a lot of you in the room are going to be familiar with. And whilst this was very effective for us, we understood when a particular user sees an impression, what are those offline sales? The key issue with this attribution was it didn't take into account things like price, promotion, weather, and all of the other media. So in fact, we've actually scrapped this now. And we went back to the user board, we went back to the drawing board rather, and we're actually now modeling at the zip code level. So what we do here is we're actually able to ingest granular daily level inputs like sales, weather, distribution, price, as well as traditional and digital channels. And this has been very effective for us. So we continue to do this, and we won an A&A Genius Award for this work last year. So look, I've chatted about a lot when it comes to personalization, but I want to leave you with this one thought. Do not be creepy when you personalize your marketing. That's it. Thank you very much.